I'm here with Jim Hodges, Senior Analyst of Heavy Reading, and we're at this IPv6 conference.
Right.
And one of the things that concerns enterprises is what is the business reason to embrace IPv6?
And we talked about that at the conference this morning. I mean, I think the main driver, the main business driver right now is basic connectivity. Being able to make sure that your future enterprise customers get IPv6 addresses so you can provide them services. So I think there are clearly, depending on how you talk to enterprises, there may be some ways to differentiate some services.
Right.
But right now, it's all about connectivity, making sure that you can just continue forward providing service to these people.
So if they have a public website, they have applications that need to be
Absolutely.
accessed over the internet, they
Absolutely.
need to make sure that they're talking to both IPv4
Right.
and IPv6.
Right, and making sure that when that content is in IPv6, that those end users can access it and have a satisfactory user experience.
Now, because we are talking about enterprises, they're always concerned about timing.
Right.
When do I have to have this done?
Right.
Is there a particular time when, it becomes mission critical?
That's the interesting part about all this. Everybody knows it's a transition, and we saw this morning that there isn't a date. There isn't like a line in the sand that it's going to be, 2 years, 5 years. But everybody understands that it's going to be a transition because you've got different networks interfacing with different networks. So depending on how each network upgrades from 4 to 6, you might have to do tunneling, or you may not have to do tunneling. So with all those different moving parts, it's really hard to say here's where the end date is.
Right.
And that's not going to change until there's just the industry just has to keep working through it.
Okay. What about the location-based services, especially with a lot of enterprises having mobile applications and mobile devices? Does staying with IPv4 and not making the transition endanger any of those services?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because obviously there's been a lot of GPS services and geolocation services on IPv4 today. Right. They've all been written on IPv4, and a lot of mobile applications. And we've seen that telcos want to be able to start doing services, like SDN, being able to offer mobile advertising. Mm-hmm. But I think there's consensus in the industry right now that because these applications have been maybe written and coded with IPv4 addresses, and the databases they look up are basically 4 empowered. Yeah. In the meantime, you'll have to start transitioning that data into 6. So, in that period, there will be some areas where if you're using IPv6 pure native IP address, the location data may not be as accurate as in IPv4. In the long term, once you have more IPv6 deployed, then the services are the same and probably a little bit better.
Okay, so it'll be just something like everything else. We'll just have to keep working through it over time.
Got to work through it.
All right, Jim. Thanks very much.
Thank you.